One. Yes, we are live.
Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to all. So today on 14th December 2024, we have a very special resource person with us, Acharya K. Pandurangi sir, Professor and Dean Vedanta Faculty, Karnataka Samskrit University, Pampa Mahakavi Road, Bangalore. Sir is going to talk on the title Shri Krishna and the Gita Historical Exploration. It's our privilege and blessing to have you on the platform of the history enthusiast, sir. And thank you so much for accepting our invitation to give this lecture. We warmly welcome you to the platform of the history enthusiasts. Um, and I also take this opportunity to welcome our honorary president, Shri Nandan Shastri ji, and Manali Momaya, founder president of the History Enthusiasts, and our core committee members, advisory members, and all the audience who are joining us through this session. Uh, Now I request Ms. Manali Momaya to introduce our today's resource person, Acharya K. Pandurangi sir. Over to you, Manali.
Thank you very much, Nidhi, for the warm welcome. And first of all, I would like to apologize because I was not able to attend the three very interesting lectures of this series, the beginning lectures. So I'm very fortunate to be joining today. It is my privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker for today, Acharya Veeranarayana N. Pandurangi. Acharya Pandurangi is a revered scholar and teacher, currently serving as the Dean of the Faculty of Vedanta at Karnataka Samskrit University, Bengaluru. He has previously held the prestigious position of the Principal and Acharya at Poornaprajna Vidyapeetha in Bengaluru, a premier institution for traditional Sanskrit studies. With an academic career spanning over 4 decades, Acharya Pandurangi has made remarkable contributions to the study and teaching of Nyaya, Vedanta, and Indian philosophy. He has authored over 40 books and published numerous research papers that illuminate the depth and relevance of Indian thought, especially of the ancient period. Notable among his works are his translations, critical editions, and insightful commentaries on classical Sanskrit texts, which have been instrumental in bridging the gap between traditional and modern scholarship. He has delivered lectures at prominent national and international forums, inspiring audiences with his erudition and passion for Indian philosophy. His efforts in preserving and disseminating India's intellectual traditions have earned him immense respect in the academic and spiritual communities. And his CV is very, very impressive, and it is very exhaustive too. So it is not possible to cover all that in a very short period of time, but we are very happy and fortunate to have you, sir, on today on our platform. So today he will take us on a historical exploration of Sri Krishna and the Gita, shedding light on the historical, philosophical, and cultural dimensions of this text, which is timeless in its relevance. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Acharya Veeranarayan N.K. Pandurangi, sir. We are honored to have you with us today. Over to you, sir.
Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hare Om. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Abhramam Bhangarahitam, Ajadam Vimalam Sada, Anandatirtham Bhaje Tapatrayapaham, Tapaswadhyaya Shushrosha, Krishna Puja Ratam Munim, Vishwesham Ishtadam Vande Parivarat Chakravartinam. Today it is a very good opportunity to speak on the historical Krishna and his Gita. In the lecture series on Bhagavad Gita, I thank Sri Nandan Shastri ji, Manali Mumaya, and Nidhi Katti ji, and all the people who have organized this lecture series. So my intention to speak about this session is about the historicity of Krishna. And the importance of understanding or the historicity of Krishna, that is also very much important, because there is a current um, view that there is no need to worry about the timeline of our history, or whatever the chronology of our people, our ancestors, our rishis, our acharyas, our devatas, because it is more important to think over the theory, or the topics, or the theme they have given, the ethics they have given to us. It is more important than the debate over their timings and their places, etc., their geography, etc. But the thing is, if we don't think over and come to a conclusion about the chronology of the our own history, our own devatas, our own acharyas and rishis, there will be a huge mistrust on the stories that we tell, or the the history that we propound, or such things will happen. For example, if we take up the story of Srimad Bhagavata, that is very important work of Vaishnavas, then we have to tell it was the Shukacharya who told the story. And then question comes, who was the Shukacharya, and when he was born, where he was, and where he told the story of Bhagavata, and how he was born to Vedavyasa Krishna Dvaipayana. Similarly, about the Mahabharata, we come to questions, and the questions immediately rise. But who was the Krishna Dvaipayana, and when he was there, and what was his father, who was his father, and who was his mother, etc., etc. All these questions immediately rise. And immediately, in the same manner, we have to think about the Valmiki also, who was the author of Ramayana. Who was Valmiki, where he was, and how he wrote all the things, etc. Certainly, they will come. And we are trying to answer these questions because they are all very important things that we have to understand and propagate, to communicate to our younger generation. Otherwise, our younger generation will not accept these stories. They think it is all myth, because there is a um, big the big team of people of Western Indology who want to convey, or who want to simply show, to project that all the stories are simply um, myths. There is nothing else to be understood in these stories. These are all mythology. So, what is mythology? Mythology is, it is all, if we choose the Indian word, Sanskrit word for mythology, it is mithya. Mithya has got so many meanings. One is, it is totally a non-existing thing. It is only a imagination of our people. Like we imagine a silver on the conch shell on the bank of a river, that the silver that we imagine is not really existent there. It is only our imagination. It is mithya. In the same manner, Kauravas, Pandavas, Krishna, and Ram, and all other people are only mithya. So they did not exist, and we are starting our history from the invasion of Alexander the so-called great. That is the story that we are told from our childhood. But it is very important to think about, understand about our own real history from our sources rather than the sources of Western people. We have to use our own methodology rather than the Western methodology to construct our own history. So the people will be able to understand all these things. That is the intention of this topic. So I want to deal with the historicity of Krishna and his Gita. So when we think about Gita, the essence of Bhagavad Gita is very clear. When Arjuna is in front of the big army, 18 Akshohiणी Senas, 11 from the side of Kauravas and 11 from the side of Pandavas, 7 from the Pandavas, he is in the very difficulty how to kill all this his own kith and kin. So he is confused with his own dharma, what to do. Now Krishna answers, no, it is your dharma to fight a battle, to wage a war. Don't worry about the consequence, because you are not going to kill anybody. They are always already killed. Maya hatamstvam jahi satru sanghan. It is the message of Krishna. So these are all already dead. You don't think you are going to kill them, because I am the person who is there to see who is alive and who is dead, and whom to kill or whom to make alive. It is my duty. It is your duty to throw arrows. That's why don't worry. So it is the message of Krishna to Arjuna. So Arjuna, he was fighting the war now. This is the exact message of Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. And in the course of action, he is narrating to be subservient to the God. God is the supreme. I myself, Krishna, I am the supreme Lord of the whole world. So you need not worry about all these things. You are only servant to me. That is another message. So in the course of his narration, Krishna says, Bahoni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetha parantapa. So you had so many lives in the course of your journey, as too I have had my own journey. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani. I have got so many lives, and they are all over. Now we are in this life. Janmani Tavacharjuna. You have also got your own many lives, but I understand all the lives, but you don't understand your lives. That is the Krishna's message to Arjuna. So in this manner, in this message, Krishna says, no, you are unnecessarily worried about all other things. And I am here to protect you. Don't worry. All these things, that is what Krishna wants to convey to the Arjuna. And in the course of his narration, Krishna says many things about his own life and his own version of yoga to Arjuna. So in that course of narration, It is about all yoga, because Bhagavad Gita itself is yoga shastra. He says, "Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshakave bravit." I had told this yoga to Vivaswan, that is Surya, and Vivaswan, he told it to the Vaivasvata Manu, and Manu told it to the Ikshvaku. And it is continuing the tradition of Rajarshis. But now that yoga is lost, Sakale Neha Mahata Yogo Nashta Parantapa. The yoga is now it is lost. That's why I am telling you this yoga. So here again Arjuna is confused. Now you are standing in front of me and you are saying that you had many lives and you had given this yoga to the Vivaswan. How it is possible? Aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvatah kathametad vijaniyam tvamado proktavaniti. How I can understand that you had told the same yoga to Vivaswan earlier, because you are now standing in front of me. How how can I believe that you were there in the earlier times also? Then Krishna Paramatma gives this answer: Bhuni me vititani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetha parantapa. I have got so many lives in my career or in my journey, my work, to protect and to again destroy the whole world. I am the creator of this whole world and I am the sustainer of this world and I am going to destroy this whole world. That's why यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. It is the Krishna Paramatma says. So again he continues, जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं माम वेत्ति तत्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोर्जुन. One has to understand my lives, my earlier lives. So Krishna is very clear that I lived earlier also. I know what I am going to do. I knew it. I am knowing it. I will know what will happen on the things. That's why you should not worry about your journey. But you don't know all the lives. So here Krishna Paramatma is speaking about his earlier avatars. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. I am going to descend here on this earth to protect परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. This is the Krishna Paramatma's answer, and this is the ultimate message to the humankind. So when Krishna Paramatma speaks about his own lives, how to understand these lives? This is the question. Whether he was speaking something false things that I had got all the earlier lives, and this is false. But only Krishna is claiming that he knows all these things. This is one thing. The people not able to understand the Indian tradition speak. That is the problem. And there are people who want us to be confused in all this our own history. So if you believe in the Bhagavad Gita, then you have to believe that Krishna was there and Krishna had many lives and Krishna knows all these things, and what Krishna is doing, he knows it. But if you don't believe in Bhagavad Gita, then you can say, no, it is all a clear story fabricated by Krishna or a Krishna Dvaipayana or any person who is the author of Mahabharata. That simply they can dismiss it. That is the normal way the people do, and they want it to project as a mythology. That is the problem. But if you believe in Bhagavad Gita, then you have to believe his earlier lives also. And you have to believe that himself, he is the Krishna Paramatma, he is the ultimate God, which is narrated in the 15th adhyaya of Bhagavad Gita. द्वाविमो पुरुषो लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च यस्मात् क्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रथितः पुरुषोत्तमः. I am the Purushottama. I have crossed over both Kshara and Akshara Purushas. That's why I am called Purushottama. This is what Krishna wants to convey. So if you believe, you have to accept it, what Krishna speaks. If you don't believe in Bhagavad Gita, dismiss Bhagavad Gita simply as a fabricated story, that is another matter. But we have many references to Krishna in earlier literature, and we have to understand the story of Krishna through our own history, our own literature. That's what we are going to see today. So, it is a very big story and big chronology. Even if we take the story of Rama, Rama um, is the descendant of a very family that has got some 64 ancestors before Rama. And so is the Krishna and all other people. Because Indian history is very long and it is all noted in the different Puranas, in the Aitareya Brahmana, in the Brahmana Granthas, and also in the Mahabharata and Ramayana and all other things. So, if we take the case of Rama, is the 65th of the Surya Vamsha, and in the same manner, if we take the case of Chandra Vamsha, again it is around we can see some Pandu himself is the 34th of the Chandra Vamsha that comes from Daksha, Aditi, Vivaswan, Manu, Ila, Pururava, and Ayu, Nahusha, Yayati, etc. Puru and Janamejaya. In the same manner, Krishna, he is the descendant of Yadu, the sons of Yayati. So, in the same manner, we can understand Krishna is around the 34 or 35, 36 generation from the Yayati himself. That is all narrated in the Bhagavata Purana, Matsya Purana, and all other Mahabharata. Also, we can find references to such lineages of kings. And after the Pandu, then we have around Pandu is something 34th in the lineage, and 35th is the Arjuna. From Arjuna, the lineage continues, and it ends with the 63rd, 63, the 63rd person, the Kshemaka, who is called Kshemaka. With the Kshemaka, the lineage of Pandavas ends. So after the Mahabharata war, there were some 26 Kuru lineages that we get their full names in the Mahabharata and all other Matsya Purana, etc. Mahabharata, the Adiparva, it gives the various names. And also the various Purana, the Matsya Purana, etc. They give the full lineage of the kings who ruled the land of Brahadratha, Magadha. That comes to around 1906 years total. The Magadhas, the 36 kings or 32 kings of Magadha Empire, or the descendants of Magadha, Sahadeva, Somadi, etc., who ruled for around 1000 years. And then come the Shishunaga Empire, who ruled 360 years, and then Mahapadma, their 100 years, and after that the Kautilya and Chandragupta come. The Chandragupta's lineage 10 Mauryas, with time span of 130 years, 38 years, and then comes the Pushyamitra's lineage, which ruled for 300 years with the 10 kings. So it is something very long list given in the Puranas. So even if we take the time of for the sake of accepting the timeline given by the Western people, the Puranas came into existence around the beginning of the Common Era. Then the whole this story goes to 2000 years before the Common Era, means around 4000 years. But if we think that this lineage ends around 1500, 1600 years after the Mahabharata Yuddha, then the whole history is around when, if we take the Mahabharata war is at the 5100 or 5000 years before the Common Era from now. From that period, we can detect some 1500 years or 1600 years or 1800 years. So there come the lineage of all these kings. So that can be taken as because it is the question of Chandragupta Maurya. The Gupta Samrajya is taken to be identical with Chandragupta, which was wrong. So there was no mention of Chandragupta Maurya in the Greek history, etc. It is only Chandragupta, Samudragupta, Sandragyutas, etc. It is all confused. So we can take that Chandragupta Maurya flourished around 3500 years back. And so it is around 1800 years after the Mahabharata war. Is all one thing. Because there are so many indications that these things happened much earlier. So what is the time of Mahabharata war? Then again, there is a big question. Many people like G.P. Singh and all other people, Sanjiti Sankale and all other people, they think that Mahabharata war happened anywhere between 1500 BC to 1000 BC. But the lineage itself is very much long. It goes much beyond the timing given by these people. That's why that may not be acceptable to us. And even if we take the mention of Vedas and other Puranas, it goes to much earlier era. There are many mentions of Dhruva Nakshatra in the Aitareya Aranyaka, which means that the Dhruva Nakshatra, which was earlier pole star, not the present pole star, that is mentioned in all our works, that itself goes to around 3000 BC. And that pole star gradually it changed its position. That is also recorded in the Maitrayaniya Aranyaka. So Dhruvasya Prachalanam, etc. it is mentioned, and slowly no more the pole star was visible in around the 16th century, 17th century, which is also recorded in the many Jyotisha works. They say, Kamalakara Bhatta says, even if you don't see the Dhruva Nakshatra, you have to show the place where it was. That was the situation. So if we take the the time of composition of, or the time of manifestation of the Taittiriya Aranyaka around 3000 years, then the timing of Rigveda, etc., must be much earlier. And also, if we take the new emerging evidences that the Vruddhagargi Jyotisha that is being edited by Professor Aranya Iyengar, which is datable to around 3800 years from now, that is around 1800 BC. That is the time of Vruddhagargi school, and Vruddhagarga himself is mentioned in all these texts, and he goes much beyond the time, that is around 5000 years from now. And that Vruddhagarga himself is the person who initiated, who did samskaras to Krishna, and that is mentioned in the Bhagavata and all other Puranas. So that history itself goes to around 5000 years ago now. And if we take the literary evidence that are available to the Krishna, that also makes it very clear that Krishna was a historic person who lived on this earth before 5000 years. Now we come to the literary evidence. What happened to the evidence of references to Krishna in the Veda and Puranas? We have plenty of references to Puranas, references to Krishna in the Puranas. The Bhagavata Purana and Mahabharata is full of the. Mahabharata itself is the story of Krishna rather than Kauravas and Pandavas, as understood by our ancient people. Even Anandavartana mentioned that Bhagavan Vasudevasya Kirtitetra Sanatana. It is the story of Vasudeva that is told in the whole of Mahabharata rather than the story of Kauravas and Pandavas, because they wanted to clear the path of dharma, what is dharma and what is adharma, what is the path of moksha. That was a very important thing for them. This is as understood by our own people rather than the Western people. They don't succumb to the misinterpretations of Western people. That is very important thing. So now we have plenty of mentions to Rama, Krishna in the Puranas, but why not such mentions are available in the Vedas? That is one very big question that we face normally. If Krishna's story is that much of importance, then why his name is not mentioned in the Puranas, in the Vedas, and in the earlier literature, Vedic literature? So, to this question, we can answer in this way. So, what was the time of the Rigveda? When Rigveda was Rigveda Samhita was compiled. If we understand the time of Rigveda composition of, or the compilation of the Rigveda Samhita, then we will understand the answers. Then we can find the answers to this question. So it is understood by us and all other Vedic people. It is the sampradaya of Vedikas that, and it is found in all the Puranas and all other Smriti Granthas. All the way it is found. It is the Krishna Dvaipayana, who was the son of Satyavati and Parashara. He descended on this earth to rescue the humankind from the problems of darkness of ignorance caused by some shapa of Gautama. Around 5,800 years ago, and he is the foremost rishi of the present time from the period that he was born. Earlier, there were rishis, many rishis were there, like Vishwamitra and Vasishtha and all other people who were the mantra drashtas, who had the fortune of revelation of mantras to them because of their long tapasya. We have seen in the Rig Veda and all other Vedas uh, the families of rishis, Gritsamada, Vasishtha, Vishwamitra, and Atri and all other Vasishtha and all other people. They had a long lineage of rishis, descendants who had the fortune of saying the mantras. So many of them are Shatarchis, some of them are Madhyamas and Kshudra Suktas, Mahasuktas, and all other classification is given in the Rig Veda. So after the revelation of these mantras, at one point of time, there was a confusion, big confusion caused by the shapa of Gautama. So which is mantra, which is not mantra, which is Veda, which is not Veda, and all other confusions were there. So to rescue this humankind from all this confusion and to show the path of jnana to the humankind, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, he descended on this earth as the son of Satyavati and Parashara. And he is the foremost rishi of this yuga. Earlier rishis were there, but this yuga, this Kali Yuga, is the foremost rishi. And this Krishna Dvaipayana himself, because of his great tapasya and his great power as the descendant, as the avatar of Sakshat Vishnu himself, he is much more efficient and he is omniscient and he has got knowledge, all our knowledge. That's why he could compile the Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharvaveda. He made these four Vedas from the earlier literature that was available to him. From Rig Veda, the bigger, the corpus of Vedas, he made small bits of Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharvaveda. And also he arranged for the different recensions that we understand from the Brahmanda Purana and Vayu Purana and also Bhagavata. Everywhere it is available. He had four Shishyas and he gave four Vedas to four Shishyas, and these Shishyas, they continued they continued the Patha Pravachana of these Vedas, and he gave Bhagavata and all other Puranas to Puranika and all other things that we understand. So after Krishna Dvaipayana, there is no much Mantra Drashta Rishi. Mantra Drashta Rishis, they happened before Krishna Dvaipayana. Though Krishna Dvaipayana himself was not a Mantra Drashta, and he need not be, because he had that great power and he wanted to give that power to others. We find Parashara as the last Mantra Drashta in the Rig Veda. Parashara is the last Mantra Drashta. No more we find Mantra Drashtas in that lineage, even though I am coming in the same lineage of Vasishtha Gotra. But that lineage stopped, the Mantra Drashta Parampara stopped with Parashara. And later on, Krishna Dvaipayana himself was a great the Maharshi. he made more service to the humankind by compiling the four Samhitas, Rigveda, Samhita, Yajurveda, and compiling the bigger Mahabharata, and also 18 Puranas, and also the Brahma Sutras. By that way, he gave knowledge to the whole humankind. So after Krishna Dvaipayana's avatara, Krishna descended on this earth. So how can there be the mention of Krishna in the Vedas, in the Rig Veda, or in any other Veda, when Vedic things preceded Krishna Avatar? So this is a very important thing that we need to understand. And whatever the avatars that happened before Krishna Dvaipayana or in the time of Mantra Drashtas, such avatars are mentioned in the in different recensions of Vedas. Maybe Narasimha, maybe Rama, maybe Varaha, or even the Trivikrama Vamana, Idam Vishnu Vichakrame Traidhani Tadepadam. It is all well mentioned. So even Veda Vyasa also mentioned in some of the mantras, but not in the name of Krishna Dvaipayana. But we don't find such mentions of Krishna in the Samhitas due to the anteriourness of the Krishna Avatar. That is one important thing that we have to keep in mind. And also the cryptic nature of Vedas. That is also one reason that we don't find the very clear, apparent mentions of Krishna and also other Rama in the Vedic Samhitas and all other things. But still, we find many of the references to Krishna Avatara in the Vedic Samhitas that we can see now. In Harivamsha, we find a mention of Narada to the Krishna Avatara. After Keshi is slayed by Krishna, Narada comes and he says, I am now sending this message to the Devatas. Yeshame Krishna Sandeshaha Shrutibhihi Khyatimesyate. Now I am sending a message, and that is conveyed through this Shrutis to Devatas and all other Manushyas in this earth. Devatas on the Swarga, in the Swarga, and also the humans are in the Manushya Loka. So all the people, they will be able to understand the importance of Krishna Avatara. This is one indication in the Harivamsha Purana that we have for the Krishna Avatara. And now, how do we find mentions of Krishna Avatara in the Rig Veda? So one mantra is quoted to mean Krishna Avatara there. Ahascha Krishna Mahar Arjunancha Vivartete Rajasi Vedyabhihi Vaishvanaro Jayamano na Raja Avatira Jyotishagnis Tamamsi. It is Ahascha Krishna Mahar Arjunancha Vivartete Rajasi Vedyabhihi one apparent mention to the Agni. Because of the order of Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna himself, he burnt the whole Khandava Vana. That's why Avatira Jyotisha Agnis Tamamsi. Now he is Agni is reducing the tamas because of his power. Vaishvanaro Jayamanaha Raja. The Jayamana Raja is like a new king. He is burning the whole forest. Ahascha Krishna Mahar Arjunancha Vivartete Rajasi Vidyabhi. These are the two, um, Krishna and Arjuna. They are ordering Agni to burn the whole forest. That is what it is mentioned here. Though this mantra, in another meaning, another layer of meaning, is mentioning the Agni also. It also means the order of Krishna and Arjuna here. It is taken to mean the Krishna Avatara traditionally. And we have many references to Krishna in Rigveda, but not the Krishna that we speak. There are many Avadrapso Amshumati Matishtat Iyanah Krishno Dashabhi Sahasraihi. There was one Krishna standing on the banks of Amshumati, that is Yamuna, and Indra came and slayed him with all his, along with his 10,000 attendants. And this mantra is taken to mean the Aryan slaying of Dravidas, because it is mentioned that it is the Krishna Dashavi Sahasrai, the 10,000 black people were standing there, and the Aryans people, they came and killed them. It is not about the Krishna that we are speaking now. We are thinking about. And there is one more, Angirasa Krishna, the Matra Drashta of 10th Mandala. But that also, that Angirasa Krishna is also not the Krishna. He is a Rishi, the son of Angiras. But he is not speaking about the present day Krishna. It is a mantra of Angirasa Krishna to the Indra. But there are some indications that this mantra may mean the Krishna of the Yadu lineage. Girin Rajanan Rejamanan Adharayat Dyauh Krandad Antarikshani Kopayat. There is a mention of how he is holding upon the Giris. And now the whole Swarga, the sky was crying. Dyauh Krandat Antarikshani Kopayat. Antarikshas were furious. And now the Krishna, he held the Giris, which may refer to the Krishna, because he was holding the Giri in his Krishna Avatara. And so we find Dohayen Gam Upashiksha Sakhayam in the 10th Mandala, 42nd Sukta. We find many things that refer to the traits of Krishna, but that we need not think this is all very superficial mentions of Krishna, because there is no name of Krishna in this mantra. Then how to understand this mantra is meaning to Krishna? It is simply that it is the traits of Krishna. So whenever the concept of linga is there in the Mimamsa, so we have to understand a mantra, the characteristics of some devata that is told in the mantra, and wherever that characteristics apply, we have to take that devata is being meant by that mantra. So in this manner, when Krishna is holding upon the mountains, he is Govardhanadhari, we can understand that he is meant in this mantra. And there are many mantras which are referred to by Madhvacharya, which really refer to the Krishna Avatara. Eko Narayana Asi na Brahma na cha Shankaraha. So Narayana was the only person who was there. Tasya hetasya paramasya Narayanasya chatvari rupani. Narayana had 4 rupas. Shuklam Raktam Rokmam Krishnamiti. So he had 4 forms which are applicable to the 4 yugas. And in the Kali Yuga, that he had this Krishna Varanam, Kalo Krishnam, Sangho Mangam. So that Krishna is mentioned here in this the mention he is in this Upanishad, Chaturveda Shikha Upanishad, that is quoted by Madhvacharya. And there is another mention, another Chaturveda Shikha mantra, which mentions clearly of the whole 10 avatars. Vasudevah, Sankarshanah, Pradyumnah, Aniruddhah, these are the 4 Vyuha Rupas. Aham Matsyaha, Aham Kurmaha, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamanaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Krishnaha, Buddha, Kalkihi, Aham Shatatha, Aham Sahasratha, Aham Amitaha, Aham Anantaha, Naivete Jayante, Namriyante. These are all my avatars. Aham Matsyaha, the whole 10 avatars are given here. And Aham Shatatha, I have 100 forms, I have 1,000 forms, I have infinite forms. Aham Amitaha, Aham Anantaha. So what Krishna, the Vishnu himself is speaking about his avatars in the Chaturveda Shikha. And then there is one more mention of Chaturveda Shikha. Tasya hava etasya paramasya treni rupani Krishno Rama Kapila iti. There are 3 rupas, Krishna and Rama and Kapila. And the same Vishnu has got 5 rupas, Dasha rupas. Tasya hava etasya paramasya pancha rupani, Dasha rupani, Shata rupani, Sahasra rupani, Amita rupani. So this Chaturveda Shikha is speaking about 3 rupas, Krishna and Rama and Kapila, the most important rupas that are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavata also. In the same manner, it speaks about 3 rupas, 5 rupas, and other rupas. So this is one thing. And there is a confusion about the Angirasa Krishna, Ghora Angirasa, and also Krishna Devaki Putra, who is mentioned in the Chandogya Upanishad. There is one Ghora Angirasa who is giving Upadesha to the Krishna Devaki Putra, and many people thought that is the Krishna Devaki Putra is Krishna is the son of Devaki, and so Krishna must be the person who is mentioned here in this Upanishad. But Madhvacharya says, no, that Mahitasa is different, and Devaki Putra Krishna is also different, and Kapila is also different. The original Krishna's three forms, Mahitasa and Krishna and Kapila, they are divine forms. But whereas these people, uh, these rishis, they wanted to have the same names to that of Vishnu. So he is named as Krishna, and his mother is also named as Devaki. He has got the same names for himself and his mother. They had made a tapasya for that thing, and they got that vara. That's why he is called Devaki Putra Krishna. But that Devaki Putra Krishna is different in the Chandogya. So we must not confuse ourselves with Devaki Putra Krishna here as the Krishna, Paramatma himself. And we find many of the references to the Krishna in the Panini and in the Patanjali and in the Yaska's Nirukta, where Akruro Dadate Mani, Nirukta himself is speaking about Akrura is giving money to Krishna. And in the Mahabhashya he says, Vasudeva Arjunabhyam Hui, he says, Naisha Kshatriyakya Samnesha Tatra Bhavataha. He is speaking about the Bhagavan Krishna. So in this manner, if we see the various references to the Krishna in the earlier literature, and also we have to understand the timing of this literature. If Mahabhashya is not something 2100 years or old, that is around in the first century BC or second century BC, but it must be very much earlier, around 3500 BC, not the 1500 BC, 3500 years from now. It is the timing of the Mahabhashya, because Mahabhashya does not mention any traits of Buddhism, and so is the Panini Sutra, which does not mention all these things. So they must be very much earlier than the Buddha Avatara. So there is a very much possibility, and also the clarity that the Indian history and lineage of the kings that are given in the different Puranas and in the Samhitas and all other Brahmanas is very much important and real. How we can understand this is all real? Because the spread of language itself speaks about the history of India. We have many words common to the Western languages, European languages. Many, maybe 30%, maybe 40%. The similarity between the words of Sanskrit language and the European languages, Latin and the German, English and French, etc. How it is possible? How we are speaking in English today? Because the English people, they invaded India and they came, they established their kingdom and made English compulsory. That's why we are speaking English. Even our common folk are speaking many using English words. In the same manner, our own people, they had ruled over the vast portions of Europe and the western parts of the Asia. So in the Lithuania, in the Kazakhstan, in the Ukraine and and all other parts of Greece and Rome and all other Western European countries. It is all mentioned in the Matsya Purana. Prachetasah putrashatam rajana sarva eva tu Mlecharashtraadhipa sarve udicim dishamashritaha. They were all in the Western countries. Mlecharashtraadhipa, they were all the kings of various Mlecha countries, and they were the descendants of Gandhara. Gandhara, who was ruling over the present day Afghanistan. So Gandhara's son Dharma, Dharma's son Dhrata, from Dhrata came the Pracheta, and Prachetas had 100 sons who ruled over the Western countries much before the advent of Pandavas and Kauravas. So it is the story of thousands of years. That's why the influence of Sanskrit is so strong on the European languages even today. And they wanted to make it reverse, so they imagined the Aryan invasion theory. That meant that Aryans, they came here and they did all these things, and the whole history, or original Indian history, was messed up with this European people. So we have to understand our own history from our own sources rather than the Western sources. Our own Vedic Samhitas, Brahmanas, Upanishads, Puranas, and all other texts. But unfortunately, many of the texts are lost to us, so we cannot do anything about them. But whatever the text, whatever the corpus of text that is available, we have to rely upon to rewrite the whole history of Indian continent and India's contribution to the whole world. So it is the Krishna who is speaking about his own previous lives and his understanding of the human life and the life and death circle of the humans. That's why Bhagavad Gita is very much important for people of India, and it gives a big solution to the problems of our understanding, the problems of humanity. Why one is suffering and one is happy? And the answer is the Karma Siddhanta, and it is not the one day match or the 2020. The Jiva's journey is it may be likened to the 5-day test, or maybe 1,000-year test, or maybe 1,000-life test. Bhunam janmanam ante jnanamanmam prapadyate. It's what Krishna says to Arjuna in the 7th Adhyaya. So it is very much important that our journey is not a short one, it is a very long one. So we have to understand and make others understand the real nature of this whole world and our human nature. With these words, I conclude my a few words about historicity of Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. So if I can answer any of the questions, if there are. Thanks to organizers for making me to speak about this thing here.
Thank you very much, sir.
I
On
don't
behalf of
know
the
what
history
happened
enthusiasts.
I don't know what is happening to the audience, because with this, it is first time that I am streaming through this StreamYard. That's why I don't know how audience is feeling, or how audience is having any question or something.
Yes, so usually the audience posts the questions in the comment section and we
Okay.
take it from there.
Okay.
And several times audience watches the videos later on also. So we have questions sometimes after the stream has ended. we usually have the practice of conveying the questions to the speaker and getting the
Oh,
answer from there.
okay, okay, okay.
So, first of all, on behalf of the history enthusiasts and all our viewers, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Acharya Veeranarayana Pandurangi for delivering such an enlightening lecture on Sri Krishna and the Gita, a historical exploration. Sir, thank you for taking the time to share your expertise with us and for highlighting the several nuances related to Krishna and his historicity and his role in the ancient Indian history, polity, society, and so on. There are a few questions. In fact, I have asked a few questions in the comment section. I will highlight it for you.
Please, please.
Sri Krishna is portrayed both as a historical figure and as a divine incarnation. How do you reconcile these two narratives in your exploration of history?
That is very interesting. The question itself is Krishna is portrayed as a divine person and also a historical person. As historical person, he has to tread the path of humans when he is there. He has to make all the things that humans normally follow. But at the same time, he is always aware and making others aware of his divine qualities. That is why we find mentions of his divine leelas elsewhere in all these Puranas and all other things. And if we believe the story of Krishna, then we have to believe his divinity also. Without his divinity, there is no story. One can certainly throw it as a myth and imagine story. So it is he is our ancestor, and we have to make it sure that his historicity is always taken to the front. That is very important thing.
Thank you, sir. Nandan sir has asked a question. Some
Sir.
Upanishads, such as the Katha Upanishad and the Mundaka Upanishad, contain references to Krishna or his divine nature. Do you agree to this?
Not really. There are references to Vishnu rather than Krishna. So the first, there is a very big book by one Benjamin Persiado Solis from Mexico. He has collected whatever the references to Krishna in the Vedas and all other things, but not the things that I mentioned. Krishna cycle in Puranas, motifs in heroic saga. It is his book published by Motilal Banarsidas. One can see it for the exact references to the name of Krishna. And he has discussed whether Krishna is mentioned in the Rig Veda or not. And sometimes it is more confusing, and sometimes he is bringing all other Western Indology with him to the discussions. And the people are so confused that they are combining the two stories, that Krishna is aggravating the Indra in the Govardhana Uddhara Prasanga with the story of that one mantra I read, where Indra is slaying one Krishna with along with his 10,000 people. So they are combining and making a imagined story there about combining with Aryan invasion and all other things, but it is not really about that thing. As it is detailed by me in my commentary on Rigveda also, where Dasam Varanam Adharam Guhakaha. It is about he is placing them inside somewhere, guhakaha, in some secret place that is mentioned in the Rigveda second mandala. So this is all the various kinds of messing up the stories, but not in the Mundaka and Katha, what I think.
Thank you, sir. I have another question. Some scholars argue that the Gita reflects a dialogue between competing traditions like Vedic ritualism and asceticism. Do you think this reflects the historical tensions that were existing during the period in which Gita was composed?
It is also very interesting. So the Vedic and um, the asceticism, these are thought as two different streams. That is uh, one notion created by the Western people. They have divided whole Indian tradition into two. One is Brahmanic and another is the Shramana something tradition, which emphasized more on the asceticism and all other things. And another thing is the whole, they have made the whole Vedic tradition equated with Brahmanism, Brahmanical tradition, which is something very cooked up story, because in the whole Vedic tradition, there are many people. It is not only the Brahmanas who were the rishis and who were participants in this dialogue. So it should be called as Vedic tradition rather than Brahmanical tradition. So and when we go to the asceticism, that is thought to be the contribution of Buddhism and Jainism. It is because the much asceticism is not found in the Vedic tradition. It is the contention of these Western Indologists, which is not acceptable, because whole Vedic rishis, what was the idea of Vedic rishis? What was the Vedic idea of Vedic rishis? Why they were doing tapasya and why they were sitting for such a long time in the forests? Were they trying to gain big kingdom, hundreds of queens, and much more things to enjoy? No, we find no such mentions in the rishis. They are simple people. They are doing tapasya. They are trying to understand the divinity of devatas and divinity of the Parabrahma. So they are simply with the simple things. They are content with simple things. Prajaya Pashubhir Brahmavrachasena. Some basic things for the livelihood, like praja and pashu and small place to live in. So the uh, tradition of rishis is not different from the tradition of brahmanas and aranyakas and upanishads. So is the tradition of Vedic rishis is not different with the tradition of Puranic rishis, because there is no separate class like a Puranic rishis, because all the rishis mentioned in the Vedas, they are all in the Puranas. So we get the history of these Vedic rishis from Puranas. So Itihasa Puranabham Vedam Samupa Brahmayat. It is the basic theme we have to stick on. We have to understand the whole Veda from basis of Itihasa and Puranas. That's why Itihasa and Puranas are created, to make humans understand the Vedas. So Even if we take asceticism in the Bhagavad Gita, there is no mention of any Buddhism or any connection with Buddhism. So this asceticism is not something different from the Vedic tradition, Vedic yajna tradition, because the yajna, yaga, tapasya, this is all one holistic tradition as understood by rishis and our our history makers, our Puranakaras and our Itihasakaras. That's why I don't see any different difference between these two things. And Krishna Paramatma himself is making it very clear. There is Karma Yoga, there is a Buddhi Yoga, there is a Bhakti Yoga, and there is Jnana Yoga. But different adhikaris for the different yogas, and it is also clear in the Bhagavata also. So I don't see
Thank you,
any.
sir. Yes. Nidhi has asked a question. Can we get information about the situation or position of women during the period of Mahabharata from the Bhagavad Gita?
Not exactly from Bhagavad Gita, because not much is discussed in the Bhagavad Gita except for one or two shlokas, Kirti Shri Vakchanaryanam. But in the Mahabharata, we have plenty of references where one lady, she shows the ways of dharma to a great rishi called Jabali. Such mentions are there in the other parts of Mahabharata, and also Draupadi herself is a very great lady, knowledgeable lady who fought for her rights and also for the dharma that she fought with all the people, and she was a brave lady who is a model for the people. So not much with the Bhagavad Gita.
So one last question from me. In the Gita, Krishna emphasizes that spiritual progress is open to everyone regardless of birth. How do we reconcile this inclusive spiritual message with the concept of Varna and today's rigid caste structure that we have?
So Krishna himself has clearly told this is not a one simple life. One life, you are going to hell or heaven, as we find in Christianity, Islam, and all other different religions, not in the dharmas. But Vedic dharma is very much clear. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavanma prapadyate. One has to go through various lives where he has to experience or he has to eat what he does in his previous lives, and he has to progress through these varnas. So as we find in the story of Jabali and all other Mahabharata Dharma Vyadha, the varna is not important for anybody else to become knowledgeable or to experience the Brahman. So even a person who is born in the Shudra Varna, he can be highly knowledgeable, and he should be worshipped by the people, even belonging to the higher Varnas. So this, as Madhvacharya has again and again mentions it very clearly, this Bahya Varna is not very much important. It is it is the traits, it is the characteristics of Varnas. If there are more characteristics of Brahmana are available in the other people, then they should be understood as Brahmanas, and they should be respected for their qualities. So this jati is not something very important thing for the pursuit of Brahmadhyana. So, but it is there, and it was there. So it is the circle of life and death again and again. It is the spiritual progress, and we don't know when we will be having such revelation, whether in the Shudra Janma or in the Brahmana Janma. We don't know. So no caste is lower because it is lower caste or lower varna. No caste is no varna is higher. Or no person becomes higher because he is born into such varna. This is a mission. It is the message of Bhagavad Gita and all other scriptures that is very clear. So it is the spiritual path. The path of Brahmadhyana is open to all the varnas, and Bharata Bhumi is a conducive place for the Brahmadhyana. That's why people from around the world, they come here for the spiritual growth. And it may be also that more and more people are being born in India to experience some kind of spiritual growth. That is also quite possible.
Thank you, sir. I now request Nidhi to take over from here.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a really very wonderful lecture, very enlightening, and you have put light on multiple things about which we were not aware. Thank you so much, sir, for giving this wonderful lecture on the platform of the history enthusiasts. I take this opportunity to do the vote of thanks. First of all, I thank Acharya Veeranarayana Pandurangi sir for giving us his precious time. Sir is always busy with many initiatives, but still he gave us the time for the lecture. Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time and wonderful lecture. I also thank Honorary President of the History Enthusiast, Nandan Shastri ji, and Founder President Miss Manali Momaya for being wonderful co-host, and our core committee members, advisory members, and all the audience who have joined us through this session. And I request all the audience, please do share the lectures which we conduct to other groups in which you are part. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe. Thank you so much.
And
Tomorrow
we
we
conclude with Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That gives us strength and bhakti for our path to our future journey. Hare Krishna, Sarvebhyo Namaha.
So tomorrow we have an lecture on iconography depictions of the Bhagavad Gita. Our speaker is Sneha Nagarkar, research scholar and visiting faculty, Department of Archaeology, University of Mumbai. I request all the audience to join us tomorrow at the same time, 6 o'clock Indian Standard Time. Thank you so much. We are signing off here. Let's join tomorrow at the same time. Have a very good night and happy weekend. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and thank you, Nidhi, also for making this a series and this lecture possible. Thank you so much. See you all soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.